After all these years, getting up in the morning to go work a record.
Once again.
Yeah. What's it feel like? I mean, honestly.
I feel grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 60. I have the greatest
You
job
are
in the
not.
world. Yeah,
You
I am.
cannot be.
I
That's
am.
the one thing people keep saying on stage. Like, good grief, Reba just keeps getting hotter.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, maybe I'll say I'm 70.
Damn.
Damn, she looks good. But I just got back from Davenport, Iowa, and had a great show last night. And to get to do what we get to do at the level we get to do it, as long as we've been able to do it, who's got anything to complain about?
Yeah. You've had tons of ebbs and flows over this huge career you've
Yeah.
had, and you've been certainly an inspiration to me and Ronnie too
thanks.
in our professional career. And we were talking the other night about like when you were coming out of Broadway, and we've all had those times when you just feel like you're definitely down in the trough, and you're looking up there at a big old wave, and it's like, how am I going to get back up there again? And has that changed for you? Are you just geared that way in general, or as time goes on, does that wave look higher or shorter, having gone to the top of it so many times?
Wow, that's a deep question. It looks about the same because every situation is different, but the perseverance is always there in my heart and my soul. And that was instilled in me with Mama and Daddy because you didn't quit, you didn't give up. And that's what I've always tried to pass down to Shelby. And that little fart, he doesn't give up either, and I'm so proud of him. And it's something that Daddy, when he went broke, he never went bankrupt, but he went broke. And he wore out so many pencils trying to figure out how to get back in the cattle business and how to get back into the game of buying cattle, selling cattle. So it was never an idea of quitting. One time I was griping about something, and my cousin Paula Daniels, she said, well, why don't you just quit if you don't like it? And I looked at her like she had 3 heads growing out of her shoulders. And I said, I didn't mean I wanted to quit. I was just venting. Just listen to me.
Yeah.
I'll be fine in a few seconds.
Your first single had a real sense of defiance to it, for lack of a better way of putting it. I ain't going out like that. And you, for I don't know how many times it is, but it doesn't matter. It's been so many, is the point. You wound up at the number 1 spot on the album's charts again against a whole new crop of great country music stars at a time when a lot of artists of our era are finding that spot where maybe our time at radio has come and gone. To see that kind of success from an album, how important is it to get to say, I told you so?
Well, I never ever think about saying I told you so.
You don't?
Uh-uh.
There's no sense of I'm going to show you when there's a lot of people, and when not you in particular, but it's more kind of an era of great artists that are not being played. You don't want to show the industry that, yeah, our fans are still out there, and I mean that isn't
that I do. I never think about, well, I told you so. We're still relevant, and we still have so much to teach, to show you we can still do this. And what is so sad?
only love in your heart.
Oh no, I'm really pissed off about it. But I never thought about saying I told you so. But I do feel like that I can say, see, we've got so much more to offer. Why do you sweep us under the rug? Because we have so much to teach these young kids. When I had my first single, a lot of these kids that are on the charts now weren't even born. So I've been around a long time. I've seen how it works. I know how it works. I know what works. And I know what you have to do. You have to surround yourself with good people. Because whether you make it or break it, you're going to have fun and you're going to learn something, which is the most important thing that you can get out of this business, and friendships.
Yeah, but what you're doing is much more than teaching. It's not like what you're doing is significant as far as an artist and the joy that you're bringing your fans, just like you always have. It's not like you have to be you're obviously looked up to and people respect what you're doing, but you're not the mother hen, so to speak. You're obviously still a valid artist, and your fans have proven that. They're not buying your music because you're teaching them something. They're buying your music because you're still a valid artist.
Well, that's nice. I appreciate that. And I do agree with you on that, too, because they're great songs.
Yeah.
And that's what has sustained all of our careers are the great songs. I'm not like you and Ronnie. I don't write my songs. So I have to go out and listen and beg and plead for, please let me record that song. And thank God the songwriters let me. But I'm still learning, too. I went over to the Ryman Auditorium the other night and watched Dolly Parton's show.
Uh-huh.
Anytime I can go watch somebody that I know is smarter than me, has the greatest voice. I absolutely love her wit, her charm, the way she did it. And you could tell she worked a long time on that show.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something she threw together overnight. And I respect the thunder out of her. And I always want to go learn. And I just think everybody should know the history of country music, the people who have been before us, and learn from them.
Mm-hmm. The fun thing about Dolly to me is you're right. She's just like you. She's a total professional. Somebody was asking me today in an interview, what is it about performing with Reba that's so much fun? And I said, because you've got Ronnie and I up there who don't have a clue where we're going or what we're going to do next, and Reba does. And she's always got a smile because she can tolerate us because we're such good friends. But she's also got that twinkle in her eye that's like, what are you doing? And don't screw this up, which makes it so much fun for third graders like us.
Y'all are so much fun. You're just like little boys, little mischievous boys. How can we pick her off tonight?
Which having our sister on stage with us really makes that a good time.
Oh, I did. It was so much fun. I had the best time in Vegas.
But that's what I was going to say about Dolly is what she's always been so good on her feet, and you are too. But she also knows what she's doing. As a backup plan, if nothing impromptu comes to her, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
But when something does, she deals with it because she's comfortable.
Yep.
You do your homework, you have your show together, and it makes life comfortable.
Yep.
You got a great new single. It's really fun. It was written by Shane McAnally. Have a hand in that? Yeah.
Yep.
And who, of course, is real instrumental in a lot of Hall of Fame songwriting. So the question I probably get online more than anything, and I have Ask Kix, is how do you know which single is going to be your next single? So your album is great. Obviously,
Thanks.
there's a reason it was number one. Of all the songs you could have picked, why this one?
It's cleverly written.
Mm-hmm.
It is fun to do on stage. It's different. It's catchy. And I find myself singing it over and over. When I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom, I'm singing that song. That's, to me, a good indication of a song that will stay with you and needs to be released. I didn't pick it, though, as the single. Scott Borchetta did. He was the one that was really going to the plate for this
I can't
one.
believe you would let somebody like Scott get in your business.
Isn't that amazing?
Scott Borchetta, who, of course, has Taylor on his label and has been instrumental in her career. And
Scott's been instrumental in my career for many years.
Mm-hmm.
We've been working together for a long time, and I honestly trust him explicitly. And when he said, I really feel strong about this.
So now you're like, you better. It's nice when it's his call. That's right.
My butt's not on the line.
That's right. When it works, it's your fault, and if it doesn't, it's his.
Exactly.
So you got a great.
But it's
going to
work because it's a great song. It's so clever. They use like 1, 2, 3, ABC, left, right, up, down, and I can memorize it very easily too.
Well, I saw you. I went online and pulled it up, and I saw you performing it on a live TV show. Yeah. And you had your hands on your hips, so I can tell when you're getting sassy and you, here she goes. You had one of your old friends, Shirley MacLaine, was in town recently, and I didn't get to meet her because I got her book now and I'm halfway through it.
Yeah.
And she seems to be, she's so spiritual in general, and there's just so much cosmos going in and out of those ears and mind and heart of hers all the time. After spending the day with her, what'd you come away with?
That she's a lot smarter than I am. Boy, she went over my hairspray on so many topics. I kind of glazed over. As Shelby says, the window rolled up. But no, I tried to comprehend what she's saying, but she can cover and talk on any subject you want to bring up.
Uh-huh.
But she's wide open. I mean, she is so open-minded that she will take in, and then she'll give you what she thinks. Very smart lady.
What about destiny? I mean, how much do you believe in? She seems to. Do you think we're? I mean, I get from her a lot that a lot of our life is sort of preordained for us. That we're sort of put on a boat and we're pushed in a direction. And there's going to be this and that. But I mean, do you feel like you were put here to do this? Is this your destiny, or have you found your way and found your love?
I have been put on this earth for a reason, and I listen to God daily of what he wants me to do next. People will say, well, what you going to do next? I say, I have no idea. God hadn't told me yet. Waiting on instructions, waiting on my marching orders. And when I'm ready, he gives me those marching orders, and I go do it. And he's the reason that I've gotten to do all the great things I get to do. And I give him all the credit, because I sure didn't think it up.
Mm-hmm. How do you get your marching orders?
The Holy Spirit tells me.
Uh-huh. But does that come to you and someone you meet or something somebody says, or do you wake up with a thought in your mind and go, where did that come from?
All of the above. Sometimes it comes through other people, and they'll call and say, hey, we'd like Reba to do so-and-so. The way I got to do Annie, Get Your Gun, they had asked me to do the play a year before, and I said, oh, no, I'm a gypsy. I need to stay out there on the road and have fun, and I got this and that to do. And then we were going to New York on our plane to catch the Concorde over to Europe to do a TV show. We got to New York, and the catering truck had knocked the door off where they load all the food in.
Yeah.
Had knocked the door off of the Concorde plane.
Oh, no.
And so we're stuck in New York. Not a bad place to be. And so Narvel says, well, what are you going to do? I said, well, let's go see a play. It was Sunday. And he said, what are you going to see? And I think he said, well, they were trying to get you to do Annie, Get Your Gun. Let's go see it. All right. So we got tickets, and we went over there and watched it. And at intermission, I looked at him and I said, I got to be on that stage. So I think divine intervention, whatever you want to call it, but it just kind of steps right in and leads you down the right road if you just listen and pay attention.
And when you came out of there, obviously, Broadway economically works a whole different way than country music touring.
Ooh, did it ever.
So, and I remember you telling me one time of working a cattle ranch, that's the hardest work that you've ever had to do. But what'd you come away from there with?
Oh my gosh, that Broadway was the hardest work I'd ever done. Harder than working cattle by far. 8 shows a week for 6 months. And the only break I got was when I went out to L.A. to shoot the pilot for the Reba TV show. I had a sinus infection, came right back, got right back on stage, and I never missed a show except for doing the pilot.
But when you were done, looking back now, what did you learn from that? What was your biggest takeaway from doing Broadway?
Number one, that money is not that important, because doing something like that was so creative. I got to work with a team, and it's not always, money has driven me a lot. Not because I want to go buy stuff. It's just that I grew up with not having a lot of things that I thought I wanted. And then when you get to making money, then you buy that stuff and you think, well, crap, that's just a bunch of stuff. Now I got to either dust it off or hang it up or wash it or take care of it or whatever. And then you just get back to the basics of really just going, having fun and learning from other people and being on stage with other very talented singers and actors, that you're not just Reba McEntire. You're playing a character that did great things and inspired many women. So I came away with a deeper sense of what's really meaningful in the world.
Being rich is kind of like being poor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I just think if you can have everything, if you can buy anything you want, then that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
It's like then you turn to what really matters. And if you can't buy anything you want, then you look to what really matters.
Boy, that I got to write that down. That's good. I asked Daddy one time when he won the championship 3 years, 57, 58, and 61 in the Steer Open, won the world championship. And I said, after he was with me when I won, I think my third female vocalist of the year, CMA, and I said, Daddy, what was the best for you, getting there or picking up that trophy saddle? He said, oh, getting there, always. And I agree with him.
Yeah.
It's the fun, it's the chase, it's the race, it's the competition, which I thrive on. Love it. And then you get the award, it's like, okay, can we do it again?
It's just a way of keeping score.
Yeah.
And money's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I think once you got your family fed and got your kids taken care of.
Now, I ain't knocking it because I do like the money. And I work hard to make sure I live the livelihood I get to. But it is. You got to stay hungry and you got to want for not more possessions and not materialistic things. It's what can I get to go see? Now, my big deal is vacations. And
Yeah.
I love to go on trips with you and Barb. And that's the most fun for me is hanging out with my buddies and getting to go places I hadn't seen before.
Yeah. Where haven't you seen that you want to go to?
Austria.
Austria.
I want to go
How'd
see.
we miss Austria?
I don't know.
Well, let's go.
I'm ready. I want to get, they were doing the program Diane Sawyer did about where they filmed The Sound of Music.
Mm-hmm.
Well, The Sound of Music was my favorite movie because I was in the 5th grade when I saw it. Dressed up and everything. Went to the Oklahoma Theater in McAlester, Oklahoma to see it with Marilyn McClendon, my best friend, and all her family. I mean, it was a huge Sunday outing. And so I would like to go trace those steps that Julie Andrews did when she was filming that movie in Austria.
Unbelievable history there, too. Yeah. I have a dear friend, older guy's a professor at Princeton, but was a child during World War II and talked about when the German soldiers first showed up, and him and a buddy of his were out playing in the woods, and they turned the corner on 2 German soldiers.
Oh, my God.
And they were talking to him, and they didn't speak German. And the kids didn't, and they thought they were going to kill him, because they had heard so many horror stories. And they wouldn't talk to him. And he said finally one of them pulled out a candy bar and opened it up and handed him the candy bar, and they wouldn't eat it because they were sure they were trying to poison him.
Wow.
And he said as the war went on and they were all starving to death, he said they looked everywhere for German soldiers because they knew they had candy and whatever. But
Wow.
just to think there's people still out there telling those stories just wasn't that
Incredible.
long ago.
Yeah. Love that.
Well, congrats on your new record. Thanks so much for coming by.
My pleasure.
I'm glad we're going to Austria. This is going to be so much fun.
I know it. I can't
I
wait.
know. It's good to see you. You look great.
You do too.
Have a good day.
Thanks. You too.
All right.